Little Hand says it's time to rock and roll.
Hi friends, welcome back to the Joag Fan Cave. It's me, Kristen, here with Corrigan and our very special celebrity guest, who you may recognize, Mr. Mark Lewis.
Can I just say this is fucking adorable? This is adorable as fuck. Because I was ready to kind of dive in then, but I shouldn't be diving in, should I? Because it's not my podcast.
No,
so
I have a whole intro that I've written, Mark.
Fuck up. Sorry, I apologize.
Yeah, it's okay. We're here, I don't know if you know this, to discuss the 2012 film The Cabin in the Woods. Now, according to Corrigan, going to a cabin in the woods is like a big summer activity that people do, but I have to say, after watching this film, I wouldn't recommend it. All right. This movie follows 5 college friends who head to the woods for fun, I guess. Unfortunately, they obviously end up having the exact opposite, right? That's what they find there. Because if the creepy gas station attendant wasn't enough, there is then a basement full of horrors in which the kids unwittingly choose their fate by releasing a killer zombie family, upon themselves. And I should probably mention this whole thing is being orchestrated by some shadow agency of some kind, attempting to save the world through human sacrifice. But honestly, it's the cabin and the woods. That's the weirdest part. Just go to the beach like normal people, right? What are you doing?
Listen, Kristen, we don't all have beaches. Not everyone is from the beach. Some of us are from the woods.
Sure. But still.
You watch Maine Cabin Masters. You know, not all of us are from the beach.
I know. I'm simply saying that I feel like I was right last week when I said you should go to the beach. They should have just gone to the beach.
Okay, well, fair enough.
Anyway, whatever.
Mark,
Bizarre.
welcome.
Thank you. What does occur to me, and I've got to get this out of the way, right? And I apologize, but I have to say this. It is an absolute delight to be on Fan Cave. 7 years or so after I first fucking asked if you would invite me on. Right?
I feel that this is apocryphal. I do not remember this happening.
Had I not deleted all of my tweets, I would find this exact tweet, right? Before Joag, before any of this, before we met, I was following Corrigan on Twitter, and she'd been tweeting about a podcast, and I was like, "Ooh, seems like something fun that I might enjoy." So I thought, oh, maybe she'll think I'm a dick. Oh, shall I? So I messaged her, "Hi, your podcast looks really cool. You talk about the kinds of things I like. I quite like to be on." Yeah. She didn't even fucking reply. Didn't even fucking reply to me.
I mean, to be fair, she doesn't reply to DMs. So
that is a very good point.
That is an
yes.
excellent point. So yes, it is a treat, a delight, and an honor and a privilege to be on after almost a decade of waiting.
Probably more than a decade at this point. Didn't we stop doing
so,
Fan
yes.
Cave? Well, maybe we stopped in 2016 or somewhere in that vicinity.
Something like that. I think probably.
We're getting in that vicinity.
But yes,
listen.
thank you.
Yeah, glad
it's
to have
great to
you.
have. I'm honored.
Oh no,
it's
no.
Mark's gonna join us. I was like, oh my god, I got so nervous. I've been practicing that intro for an hour. I've been so nervous about it.
Nailed
Thank
it.
you. I don't know if you know this, but when we have guests on, if you remember this from the Fan Cave, I always say the worst thing. That's when I do my most embarrassing.
When the spotlight is on.
Yeah. When there's someone else there to witness, even though I know people watch this, so I know it's not just us shooting the shit, but it feels like it, and so I don't think too much about it. But when there's someone else in the room, and all of a sudden I just word vomit.
Is it like
and
when
I say
you
things.
when you try to type when you're screen sharing, and all of a sudden,
and everyone's like,
fucking...
and I'm like, yeah.
Bah.
Yes, yeah. Kristen does have a habit of saying things she does not mean to say in mixed company. So we'll see how this goes.
So far, so good.
So far, so
crushing
so
it.
good. We're doing great. Listen, this month we have Mark here, who is obviously horror expert and who is a cabin in the woods expert at this point.
Right. Just to stop you there, I heartily object to the term expert. I ain't an expert in shit, right? I'm an amateur hobbyist enthusiast at best, right?
What's the line? Where does it?
Yeah.
How do you become an expert?
I just spitballing here. I think an expert is when you've got a qualification in it, or you've studied it, or you've appeared on a panel
Haven't
show
you?
about it. No,
You have a podcast about it.
Oh yeah, I do. Fuck, I do. All right, I'll take it.
Yeah, I think we're gonna go ahead and say expert. We don't adhere to arbitrary certifications and whatnot.
No.
Layman
Fine,
expert
I'll take it.
Mark Lewis
Yeah.
here.
You have an honorary doctorate in the Cabin in the Woods bestowed to you from me.
And Letterboxd.
I am
Yeah,
a
nice.
ordained minister at the Church of the Internet, so I have the ability,
Cool.
I think, to hand out all sorts of things.
I think that's
Cool.
true.
Pretty
I
sure I
think
could
you could also
baptize you.
drive a boat.
When it comes to Cabin in the
Oh,
Woods,
yeah.
I think I picked up the honorary expert title after maybe like the 6th time.
Right.
After watching it again this morning, Letterboxd tells me I've watched it 8 fucking times. 8
Yes,
times
a
I've
lot
been
of
to that
times.
goddamn cabin. So
Honestly, that's more than those people. So
yeah,
That's
yeah,
a
it is, it
really
is.
good point. Yeah.
But
most
genuinely,
people only go once.
I'm here more to kind of just enjoy conversation about the movie because I you know I don't want to railroad anything. And I know the journey that you're on, Kristen, and I am very very keen to just hear how it lands with somebody in the kind of the first semester of horror, as it were.
Oh my gosh. Oh, yes. First semester, first quarter, really.
Indeed. Listen, I was, building up my list. Obviously, I have to pick for next month what the movie's going to be. And I end up looking through like what I think probably is going to be the rest of the year in these. And I get so eager to introduce Kristen to all of these different films, it's like every time I choose one, I feel like I'm not choosing something else, and it like gives me hives. I'm like, oh, so many things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a marathon, not a sprint. So
Yeah. I mean,
we'll get there.
I'm enjoying this journey, oddly enough. I didn't think I would. I
Yeah,
thought I was
no.
doing it more just to be a good friend.
Yeah.
Really.
This
like,
was
wow.
very much
it
a
felt like
favor.
that at the start.
I'm
It certainly felt like
so-
that at the beginning, but you're
You're welcome.
along voluntarily, aren't you?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm like, honestly, I'm having a great time.
It's beautiful. Which Mark is
One of us.
sometimes you think is maybe I'm not going hard enough if she's having so good a time.
No, I think after this, I think we can certainly turn up the heat a little.
I thought this was kind of the dial up a little bit, but
Well,
We'll get there.
we'll get there. I think.
We'll get there. But we are going to lean into your expertise a little bit, Mark.
Sure, of course.
Especially because one of the things about this movie, obviously, Kristen has been at trope school for the past several months. We started talking about the tropes that you see come up in films and things like that. And we picked this one, or I picked this one specifically because this is Trope University. This is the grad course right here. This is where you get to see it all sort of laid out for you. The tropes of the slasher, especially, but with all kinds of other subgenres melded in here as well. And of course, one of the big things is this movie largely sort of modeled the cabin itself and things like that after one of your favorites, Mark.
Yeah, I mean, when you say The Cabin in the Woods, there's only one movie series that comes to mind, isn't it? It's quintessential Evil Dead, and
Yes. Naturally.
putting that setting and that cabin in the title on the poster is a very deliberate attempt. It's the film immediately wrong-footing you. It's tempting you in with one movie and then giving you something entirely better. I'm saying this is a movie
Yeah,
that's
wow,
better.
that is that's huge. Mm-hmm.
It serves you what you think you know, and then fucking yanks it away and gives you so much more. God, I fucking love this film. It is so rich.
So why don't you, because I do think this is something that's worth knowing about to really fully appreciate this movie, why don't you talk a little bit about Evil Dead and the lineage of where this comes from? Just to give Kristen an idea of like what
Is that the other cabin
this
movie we're
is.
talking about? I'm so
Yes.
sorry. Yes,
Yes,
it is,
that's
right.
the series that
It
he
is.
is referring to. Yes.
I knew that took place in a cabin.
Most of Evil Dead does. When you think of Evil Dead, you think of A Cabin in the Woods. I mean, there are plenty of horror movies with a woodland setting, with a rural kind of ramshackle log cabin setting. But when you think Cabin in the Woods horror movie, you think Evil Dead, a series which born in the late 70s, a series with as many flavors as it has sequels. Let me think. Evil Dead, Army Darkness, Asher's Evil Dead, Evil Dead 2013, Evil Dead. There's 6 with a 7th on the way and a TV series, right? Or is it 5 with another on the way and a TV series? And
Yeah, I
every
think
single one.
you counted the series in there.
I did. Every single chapter of Evil Dead almost has its own flavor, has its own kind of personality. It goes from low budget, kind of grimy, almost art house kind of horror, micro budget, to physical kind of slapstick horror comedy, but with a serious amount of horror within the comedy. Then the balance shifts more in the in the comedy direction, and then it came back in 2013 with a remake Timeline, which is just absolute balls out, pardon my expression, just auteur fucking absolute, what's the word I'm looking for? Artisan horror, just fucking handmade, beautiful, gritty. The Evil Dead 2013 is the most hard-edged, pitiless, just cruel fucking horror movie around. Every single one of Evil Dead, like I said, has its own little flavor, its own essence that makes it so beautiful. But it has things that you would expect. Every time you go to an Evil Dead film, you know you're going to get dismemberment, you're going to get a chainsaw, you're going to get friends dying horribly one by one, you're going to get a book with a nasty demon attached to it, you're going to get possessions, and you're going to get a cabin in the woods.
Sure.
So putting that on the fucking poster, putting that in the title, this film wants you to come to it thinking you're going to get, all right, something linear, something effective, something which will jump and make you scared, and there'll be all of those things that you're expecting. And then it just, like I said, it opens up another fucking door that has an entirely different buffet of treats inside. And Cabin in the Woods does about 1 million different things in 90 minutes, and it does them all brilliantly. You'll know how Corey and I are big fans of movies that, what's the phrase? Brief, brilliant, and gone. Just be fucking amazing in a short space of time and then fuck off out of there. That's what Cabin in the Woods does. It just goes bang, 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 idea, reveal, and then it just...
Yeah.
Please.
Well, there was even a part where I was thinking to myself, like, God, people are dying like really fast. Like, this feels like it's
happens real early
at a clip that I was unprepared for. You know, it was like, so I can see how that is true, because I was like,
yeah. Some of my favorite bits of fiction, a characteristic about a work that I adore is a movie that, or a TV show or a book or anything that just introduces and then just throws away and moves on ideas. Just, there's another idea, it's fantastic, chuck it away. There's another one, chuck it away. And this is a movie like that. There's so many ideas in this film that other movies would build an entire 2 hours off, or an entire season of a TV show. Whereas this movie just goes, idea. We're all having a great time. We don't know what the fuck is going on. Let's get out of here. Whoa. And it's something completely unique. I can't think of another film like it.
Yeah, I would watch that TV show, to be clear, but you're right. It does work in this sort of, very small movie with a lot happening. A huge movie inside a very small movie.
There is one. I saw this on Amazon. There's a fucking Cabin in the Woods TV show.
There is?
Yes, in the same
and it's
vein
connected.
Apparently. I don't know if it's in the same universe, or if it's like the Scream show, or what.
When
or
is
if it's
it
like
from?
an anthology show. Do bear with.
Like, how did we miss this? I don't understand.
I had no clue. Cabin in the Woods TV show. Here we go. From 2024.
Last year?
It would seem so. This season on Cabin in the Woods explores crimes. Oh, okay. It's got fuck all to do with the film. It's a movie. It's a TV show that explores crimes that take place in remote cabins around the country.
Gotcha. It's probably on like Hulu or Investigation Discovery or something like that.
Definitely. That's definitely just ID. That's definitely an ID show.
That's definitely an ID show right there. Okay, fair enough. I was like, how they do that all the time with ID shows, that like you think that like it has the title of something else.
Well, yeah, that's on purpose, right? It has to.
Right, yeah. So when you talk into your little Roku or whatever and have it come up, you end up just accidentally watching it and staying.
It's exactly what happened with Amazon Prime today. I searched Cabin in the Woods and it was there right next to what I actually wanted to watch. Yeah.
Right. They just hope that once it starts, you can be like, yeah, I guess.
I guess.
Yeah.
Why not? So along these lines, obviously, so you've got like that Evil Dead grounding here, and I love what you said about the fact that like that is how it tricks you. And I honestly kind of wish I'd rewatched the trailer because I don't remember how it was presented, but I'm sure it had nothing of like the office scenario thing going on here and the shadowy organization, and I'm sure it just emphasized the cabin in the woods, Evil Dead Z part of it.
I think the poster says you think you know the story or something like that.
Yeah, it is something
Nice
like
and
that.
vague, yeah.
I did notice that on the Letterboxd. But so it's playing off of kind of what you already expect from horror movies. But of course, one of the big things about this is that it is also chock full of references to
Yes.
other horror movies. And Mark, you actually came prepared with a little like
I did.
guide to that.
Before, I'd quite like to hear from Kristen at this point. I'd quite like to just explore a little bit about how it landed.
Okay, so you want to do that section, then come back
Please.
to this.
Yeah. Let's,
We can
we'll
absolutely do
kind of talk
that.
about the beats of the movie, what how it kind of unfolds. But this is all about your journey, Kristen Luttrell. So I would love to know how this particular step treated ye.
Sure.
Yeah, let's
so
do it.
how
Let's
the
get
movie
into-
landed in general. Is
Yeah.
that what you're saying?
Yeah, let's get into
So-
your experience part then, Kristen.
Okay. So obviously, you don't know any of these things you're talking about, right? Never. I don't really know what
Yes.
Evil Dead is. I'm assuming it must be some sort of zombie film, maybe. I don't know.
Kind of.
But it
More
takes place in the woods.
demons, but yeah,
Demons
Yeah,
of some sort, right?
possessions, yeah,
Something
yeah.
being like summoned from the ether.
It's all there. It's evil and dead.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Evil and Dead. Great. Perfect. That makes sense. So I obviously come into all these films. I don't look anything about them. I don't look
Right.
up anything. I purely go off of what I know. I didn't know anything about this one,
Amazing.
which is hilarious, even more so because when I went to it's like on Prime streaming, right? I didn't even have to pay for it. The dream.
Love it.
I go to start it, but I didn't want to start it yet. I was like getting food, so I was like getting ready. So I didn't want it to like autoplay, so I went
Right.
down to the like more other movies you might like to like keep it away from my like prying eyes. And so then I started. So then I immediately got my food. So I just like clicked start, whatever, was like getting situated. And then the movie starts, and I'm like, oh, I think maybe I must have started one of those
Oh, you
other
must have accident-
movies because this isn't.
Oh.
What is happening? Like, why is it? What's Jenkins? What's his face? And Bradley Whitford in an office with Amy Acker, and I was like, the fuck. And it reminded me when I watched Barb and Star go to Vista Del Mar, and I had that same vibe where I was like, it's just these like quirky
This
ladies
is
on
definitely
vacation.
the first time someone has compared Cabin in the Woods to Barb
Yeah,
and Star
yeah.
Go to Vista Del Mar.
Yeah.
I don't want to brag.
guarantee it.
I go to lengths to do things that other
Mhm.
people don't do, Corey.
Yeah.
And so that was the vibe though, where I thought I started the wrong film because I was like, this
Yeah.
isn't okay, but I guess I'll just hold on, right? Because also like the beginning had all these like sacrifices. I was like, I thought this was about a cabin in the woods. Like, what is happening? And so I continued to be very confused for most of the film, right? Until finally you like really like it's like,
You,
and I'm
you
like,
get
I-
the title sequence over the
Yeah, so
two
then I
guys
thought-
talking about like are you even listening to me in
Yes.
the
Yeah.
in the golf
Oh.
cart? And you're like, okay, it
Yes.
is the right movie.
And then I was like, then I was confused because it felt like they were fake, kind of like fake haunt them. Like this was an experiment, right? We're watching
Right.
to see what they do in the basement. I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. They're like punking these kids.
Hmm.
But then like when people rose from the ground, I was like, oh, that doesn't feels pretty real though. So maybe not. You know? It's like, at every moment I was like, right when I was like, all right, I get it. I see what's happening here. They were like, just kidding. You have no idea what's going on. I was like, you're correct. I still am a little bit unclear as to what is actually happening. And so I was like, who is this government? Is it the government? Like, why is like, then there was like Battle Royale was happening in Japan, which was confusing. I don't know if that was supposed to make that connection, but I was like, what, why?
I enjoy that you
Did you? 'Cause I was
immediately
like-
went to Battle Royale. Yeah.
Very nice.
I mean, they were wearing the same outfits.
Well,
I
that
mean, it
is
was,
how
like, school
Japanese
kids.
school kids dress.
Right. Well, that's what
but
I'm saying.
yes.
So it's like, it was like they were at school being tortured.
But
so
listen, a couple
obviously-
months ago, you would not have caught
so
that.
true. That is so true.
So-
Chris, oh
I
my
think
gosh.
it's Korea. I think the kids are in Korea, not Japan.
No, it's Japan.
No, it's
Is
Japan.
it
It's
Japan?
1000%
Oh, fair
Japan.
My apologies.
Look, I know you're an expert, but I very
No,
closely
I defer.
remember that.
I defer very well.
Because they talk about Japan 80 times. Japan, they can't even kill 9-year-olds. And I'm like, all right, well, let's cool
So
it
good.
a little bit. So anyway, at every step of the way, I did not understand what's going on. Like right when I thought I did, confused again, like surprised, surprise after surprise, right? Could not have been more surprised every time. And then, yeah, just continued to be. But I also like didn't understand what some of the, I didn't know if like some of the demons they were trying to get, if I like should know who they are, sort of thing, right? Like some of the things that were in boxes. I was like, oh, I wonder if these are real things from other movies. I don't know.
We'll
if
get
that
there.
is-
That'll
I'm
be
sure
for
we'll
We
talk
will
about
get
that.
there. We will
yeah,
get
we'll
there,
get
yes.
there.
But I did because it felt like the Saw guy felt like he got a lot of screen time for someone who A never spoke.
Yeah,
and
they're
B,
definitely
we
pointing
get-
out who he is, or
Oh,
the
okay.
Kirkland brand
Kirkland
version.
brand of him.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I had a great time because I kept being like, oh, right. And then, like I said, people kept dying really fast. And then I was like, what's happening? Like, what's the point of this movie? Keep killing everybody. Like, Chris Hemsworth died so early. I felt like what is? And then like my boy, Fran.
Fran.
I love him so much.
Why,
but
why did he not go on to be huge? Why did he not go
Right.
on to have like a massive
He's
I
a
career?
perfect
do not
human man.
understand.
Everything he's in, aces. Absolutely.
He's
no
great
notes
in this
bad.
film.
Yeah,
He's great
he was.
in everything.
I was watching. So the other day on CNN, they broadcast the final Broadway performance of Good Night and Good Luck with George Clooney, and it opens up, and Fran Kranz is in it, and I was
What
like,
does he play?
oh, can't remember at this point. There's all these like old white newsmen. I don't remember.
know.
He's
I
not.
just
He's not Morrow.
Well, yeah, because that's Clooney.
Is that a
Isn't
musical?
Clooney?
Yeah, that's Clooney.
Okay.
No, it's
not
just a
musical.
Broadway
It's a
play.
play. It was a movie
It was
with David Strathairn 20 years ago.
The
About
George Clooney movie 20 years ago, but now he's old enough to play the.
He's old
guy.
enough to be the guy.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's about a famous newsman here in America who challenged the guy who was responsible for like the Red Scare and everybody, being prosecuted for being
I see.
a communist here. But anyways,
Anyway,
Fran Kranz
Fran
was in
Kranz,
it, and I was
a
like,
hero.
seriously, like, why
Yeah.
him and Enver should be in everything?
There.
And I
love
don't
of my
understand what happened, why they didn't both just blow
I
up.
know. I know.
Doesn't make sense to me.
Well, I should have definitely because I thought he was dead, and I was so happy when he wasn't. You guys, I've never been more happy in my life. I literally
Right.
screamed. I was like, "Ah!" Like when they were like, call came in, and I was like, oh no, like, okay, right? They were like really upset about the bridge. Well, we didn't get the call. I was like, they're like really harping on not getting the call. Like,
Yeah.
we get it, guys. You didn't do your job well. It's fine. Like, you don't have to pass the buck. And then the red phone rings, and you're like, oh my god, is it the president?
Uh-oh.
Is he in charge? I thought he was going to show up. He didn't. Unless the president was Sigourney Weaver, which I'm not quite sure where she came from, by the way. She just sort of like arrived from somewhere. I'm like, that looks like a bottomless pit that you just like walked out of. Whatever.
There's a
I'm not in
prequel
charge.
there for sure.
Mhm.
Something
But at
about
the same
her.
time,
Anyway,
I'm glad they didn't. I'm
Yeah.
I'm so glad that this is like its own unique and little and special perfect thing that they've never tried to milk.
to like,
you know.
well, you don't need to do anything else with it, right? Because
No.
it was so odd that what's her fate, Dana was going to die off screen. Like they were all partying. I was like, so we're just going to like
Yeah,
let
she's
that
just gonna.
okay,
Yeah.
fine. Like that seemed like a weird vibe. And so then when they were like, oh my God, we have to stop this, right? Because the virgin, can't die first. But when he showed up, you guys, I was so happy. Oh, I knew it. I mean, I didn't know it, but he also had, I thought, an off-screen death, which I thought was rude. Like,
I love
pretty-
that, like you always notice these things, but like
Yeah.
you don't like trust your instinct with
No.
them. You know, like
'cause I don't
why
really
are they
have any-
harping on this? Like
Yeah.
this not getting the call.
Again,
Why
I'm
did he
like,
die off screen? Like
because I'm never thinking that hard about the things that I'm watching.
right, you're
be
noticing
honest.
it, but
Like,
you're not.
I'm clocking
yeah.
it.
The
for
tropes
later.
are going in. That's what it is. The
Yeah,
neural
they're like-
pathways are forming.
Yeah, they're in
Mhm.
there somewhere. And I think I
Mhm.
said it last time when we were talking about the last movie last month when I was like, oh, I noticed this. And I was like so proud of myself because normally I'm just like, oh, that was weird, right? And you're like, no, Kristen, that's like the main crux
Yeah,
of the film. I'm like, yes, of course. I also do this.
yes, definitely on purpose.
Um,
Did you
so-
notice? I mean, one of the things I was thinking about when watching this is just one of those things. Obviously, you noticed it. It's not subtle, but so in the beginning, when they're driving to the cabin, you see the like falcon or eagle or whatever the hell it
Yes.
is go and like smash into the
Yeah,
the
into
side
the
of
force
the
field.
dome thing. Yeah, the force
Yep.
field. Did you remember that when Chris Hemsworth went
So-
to?
Corrigan, I'm actually embarrassed that I didn't remember it until he was in the air about to hit
And then
to
you're like,
myself.
"Oh,
The force, like, I didn't even get.
Uh-oh, losing internet. She always has the best freezes.
What's going to happen?
Oh, here we go. Here she is. Okay,
Oh, I'm
sorry,
back.
we lost you. You froze.
Oh.
So you were at like you
He
noticed
was-
as he was going towards the force
Yeah,
field.
it was like I didn't think because I kept thinking like, what are you gonna do? Like this seems like a stupid idea, right? Not remembering the force field until he was literally in the air, about like seconds away from hitting it. When I thought, oh, the force, and then it was like done. So
I think the force field is the one bit of the film that I still scratch my head over a little bit. So, are the guys underground Do they put a force field over every kind of location around the globe where they're enacting the scenarios?
I mean,
So
they
the girls
must
with the frog,
because
do they have
yeah,
a force field around
Yeah.
their school?
yeah, because it's clearly they try to keep everything in a
Contained.
very contained location.
Sure,
So that's
sure,
why
sure,
they
sure.
wanted the collapse on the front of the tunnel and things like that.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
can,
yeah,
it's not everywhere. It's not the
You
whole
can't
world.
let
They have
you can't let those fucking Gribblies out into the real world, so you've got to put a
Right.
force field around the impact zone. Yeah, okay, fine.
Yeah. Yes. So
Yeah.
yes, I remembered it, but not enough
until
to not
it-
be surprised, kind of.
I know that when I saw it the first time, I did not remember that at
Yeah.
all. So when he hit it, I was like, ah! Which I think is just like so effective in this of like even when you're watching for the tropes and the things you're looking out for and all that, there's so much going on
Mm.
Yeah.
that like you don't retain everything, you know, and then something happens and you're like,
know,
they
that's
warned me,
true.
they told
But I
me
was
this
kind
was
of
gonna
embarrassed because I
happen.
feel like they'd warned you there, but then they warned you again because Fran is standing outside high as a
Oh, there she goes again.
Oh,
Oh,
back.
there we are.
Sorry,
Okay.
you guys. This is like so embarrassing. I feel like I'm really having performance issues.
I think it's okay. I think it's okay.
No, I'm like
It's
getting
a-
really
yeah.
sweaty.
So he's standing outside. you
So
were
he's
saying.
standing outside and he's looking up. He goes, "Oh, I thought there'd be more
Yeah.
stars." And I think to myself, "Dude, no stars in the arena, my guy. Like, of course not. You're in the Hunger Games now. Like, this is
Very
what
nice.
happens."
That
Very
is
nice. So I
really
did-
good.
You
Very
would have
nice.
thought that I clocked that.
Mm.
Once again, clocked it. Forgot about it.
That's good. See,
I'm
but I
just, like I
didn't.
said,
Yeah.
I'm like a child when I watch these films. I'm just like, oh my God, what's going to happen next? And everyone's like,
Yeah.
oh, Kristen, they've literally foretold what's going to happen. They've told you so many times. Why are you so
Well,
surprised?
We've talked a bit about this too, in that like Mark tends to be more like that too, of not necessarily trying like the whole time to connect the
Yeah.
dots or whatever, where I tend to like be like, oh, that happened.
Oh,
This
you'll
means
have
this
the
is gonna
ending
happen.
guessed within the first 5 minutes because you're a super
Right.
recognizer, aren't you?
I'm
Yeah.
a super recognizer. I'm usually like immediately clock whatever the pattern is or whatever and like see where this is going. This movie is clearly not the case. There's no way you could know where this is going beforehand. But I think Mark, you usually are more along for the ride like that, where like
Yeah,
you're not
I'm
necessarily
Given the
you know.
choice between being, Carl or Lenny, shall we say, I'm I like to be surprised. What can I tell you? I like to go along for the ride.
Yeah. What a way to put it. But so what else? Tell us more about, what stood out to you, Kristen, favorite parts, anything that remained confusing, anything
Yeah.
that you were like, is this a reference to something? What else what stood out to you in Cabin in the Woods?
Yeah, I eventually got the like jock kind of like slut. It was interesting because it took me a second to realize how their personalities had changed because they didn't spend a ton of time as those people
Mm.
in
Mhm.
the beginning, right? Because
Right.
it was all so quick that I didn't clock it at first, and so that took me a second to realize like why, because it's like he's like, we should all stick together, and then they hit him with the gas. I'm like,
Yeah.
they are really like personality switching these people, which I thought
Yeah.
was interesting. And so that took me a while to get. Well, probably not until like the end when I was like, oh yeah, when they're really coordinating a lot of stuff.
Yeah. I like
Um,
that there's like a degree to which like that covers a multitude of horror sins too. Like, okay,
Yes.
if we are under the impression that every time in a horror movie you have a group of friends go somewhere, this is part of some master plan,
Yes.
and there's someone controlling it. Then when all the like super sexist things happen and whatnot,
Sure.
like,
See?
the
Yeah.
blonde is a bimbo because they put
The
something in her
fucking the
hair.
guys
The
that-
hair
underneath the
dye.
ground.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
much like
And-
right. I believe the Cabin in the Woods should be revered as much, if not more so, than Scream, because it's not only a movie about movies, it's a movie that will change the way you watch other movies.
Right.
I headcanon all the time when I'm watching a fucking new horror film that the guys underground are going, right, turn on the gas and
Yeah.
bring in the Gribbly.
Sure.
Yep, got him. Okay, next one. Okay, we're good. Phew. You can imagine that force field around every single horror movie from now on
Right.
with somebody underneath
Sure.
pulling the strings. It's fucking great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, it's like
it's-
the girl takes her clothes off, but Kurt doesn't, right? And I was like,
Right.
I even said, I was like, what? How come she's the one that's naked? Like, she's the only one that's naked? They're like doing it in the woods, and he literally has all his clothes on. I was like, what's happening? Right? Like, that was wild. And of course, then she gets killed first, which I was like, felt very much like, and to quote your other one, in Nightmare on Elm Street,
Yep.
girl is like just very much murdered so horribly, deeply,
Yes.
terribly on the ceiling.
Right.
You're like, and she
Oof,
once
yeah.
again was the one that had sex most recently. And
Yep.
you're like, okay,
Yep,
there it
yep,
is.
yep.
happened, I was like, oh, okay, I see what we're doing. I mean, I didn't obviously.
Like,
I never saw what was happening.
but they are
it was-
telling you, like, you know,
They are telling you.
she needs to show her boobs. And it's so funny how it's
She
like you
needs
get that
to-
whole
yeah.
thing where like all the guys are standing there, like, you know, watching, and they, you know, and then he's like, your basic human needs disgust me, everybody out, you know.
Yeah.
And then they're sitting there just like really like impassively watching from that
'Cause
point.
they've
Like
seen
they're
it.
they're not
No.
turned on by it or anything like that. They're like, please get the titties
Yeah,
out so that
move
the
on. Yeah,
monsters
so we
will
can-
come.
Can
Like,
get you.
He is
Yeah.
he is one of the ways in which Cabin really, really, really excels for me, because you can decide which level represents us as the fucking viewer, right?
Right,
It isn't
yeah.
just a movie about horror movies, it's a movie about people who watch horror movies.
Mhm.
Because we've seen gore and nudity and horrible murders and monsters so much in fucking in horror movies. We passively watch while, you know, we're watching depictions of teenagers and young girls dying horribly.
Yeah.
Are we the jaded fucking guys in the office going, right, let's just get this over, come on, get it done? Are we the people partying while it happens? Yes, yes, yes. We are also depicted in that film. We are one of those levels of character. Fucking
Yeah.
great stuff.
I mean,
I
I'm
was-
obviously Truman because I'm like, don't really know what's going on and continually surprised by everything that happens, you know? So
True.
it's even
yeah.
even the newbie is included in those people who are watching, right? Because
Yeah,
he was
completely.
like, aren't you guys like just, you know, when he's like asking all those questions, I'm like, yeah, I had that same question,
Completely.
you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
And it's even as overt as calling Sigourney Weaver the director. You know what I mean? Oh, the gods don't really care what the director does as long as the kids behave themselves. So it's
Right.
talking about the fucking studio system as well. It's talking about us as viewers. It's talking about the system that creates horror films. Yeah, the director says we better hurry up. You know what I mean? To move the story along. Meta stuff, which I don't
So
normally
many
have
levels.
much of a tolerance for.
Right.
But this just chucks it in, fuck it.
It's so funny too that you mentioned that, because it causes you to think about your sort of subjectivity and things like that
Yes, it
when
does.
you're watching it. And at one point I thought, right now I'm at home alone, well, with Walter, obviously. And I, you know, was sitting in the dark watching this or whatever. And then afterwards I was like, maybe I'll watch an episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark? And then I was like, no, if I watch Are You Afraid of the Dark, I'm going to be too scared when I go to bed. As I'm sitting here watching this like slasher flick where all these
Yeah, yeah.
people are being murdered by monsters, that like, I'm like, I can go to bed now and I'll be fine. But if I put on
Yeah.
this episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark, I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight. And I probably wouldn't have thought much about it, but because I was watching this movie that invites you to think about your experience of watching horror movies, I was like, what a weird thought I just had, right? Like, I'm just sitting here totally fine with everything happening in here. If I went to bed right now, I would not have a nightmare or anything like that. It's
Yes.
just, you know, that's just what I do. It's so interesting the way it points that stuff out about you, makes you think about it.
Very, and you know, and it doesn't. I guess it doesn't even matter if you engage with it on that level or not, because the artifice itself, the movie itself, is fun enough for
Yeah.
you to not need really to look for that kind of stuff.
Exactly. Yeah.
But if you just pay a little bit more attention, it's talking about you. It's talking about people behind the camera. It's talking about people in the office. It's talking about the actors. It's talking about the fucking monsters. It's a real 360 piece. It's brilliant.
Yeah. And that's a sign of a well done movie when, you know,
yeah.
there's layers and layers of it. But if you're stupid, you could watch it and have no
It's
thoughts
casual. Let's say
either.
casual.
yeah.
if you're
Let's say casual Corrigan, maybe.
Listen, you find meanings in this. I'm not, you know, you're
I mean, I did, but I obviously didn't get half of that stuff. I was-
sure, yeah.
man,
yeah.
this movie
But yeah,
really
if
took
you
a
are
right turn.
casual,
you
it's
know?
still it's still doing things for you that you don't need to be like looking at the 8,000
And it even
layers
makes
in
me
it either.
wonder. It even makes me fucking wonder. Is the hand at the end, the old gods fucking smashing the entire thing to shit, is that revenue and viewing figures? Is that the fucking final decider on whether the world lives or dies? You know?
Wow.
You
Interesting.
can
yeah.
just
Capitalism
go
was
for it.
was the bad guy all along.
Well,
Piracy.
piracy, yes. That's it.
It hurts more than just you. Yes, piracy hurts.
You wouldn't download a car.
Yeah.
Did you have that anti-piracy ad in the States?
We did, yes.
Yeah, I love it. So good.
I know. I love when I put on an old DVD and it still has those
Oh, yeah.
ads
The
before
best.
them.
Oh,
Yeah, it's the best. I fucking would if I could
Scroll.
get one on the internet. I would
Right.
absolutely download a car if I could get one on fucking torrent leech.
Once we can 3D print one, it's all over
Yeah,
for you bitches.
game over.
Fuck off, Honda.
Once I know how cars work, oh my god, am I coming for you?
You're so done. You're so done. What else, Kristen? Oops, my watch just fell off.
Honestly, I had a great time, right? Because like I
Love
said, it wasn't even like, I guess, what would you say the tagline was, Mark? Like, you think you know
You
what
think
this
you
movie
know the
is,
story or something
and it's
similar.
true. I
yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
I didn't think I knew the story, and then, but many times throughout the movie, I thought I did know the story.
Like, oh, I get
Um,
it now.
And then I continued, yeah, but I kept not, and so I loved that aspect of it. So it just was fun to,
Yeah.
be like continually surprised. I think lots of times you watch things and it's like, while maybe you're like, oh, that was enjoyable, like I kept being tripped up continually, right? And
Yeah.
I don't feel like I don't get that a lot just in regular, not just when we're talking horror films. I think like other things that I watch, because I tend to obviously
Right.
watch a lot of like crime shows, like about like
Sure.
just weird, I guess. But I just recently watched one, the same thing, where I was like, oh man, they really got me. And I feel like they never do anymore because I feel
Yeah,
like I watch it too much. So it's like,
totally.
I feel like it got me, and I like being got. It's fun to be got, you know.
Same.
I
It
think
is fun to
sometimes
be
people
got.
think it's like too cool to be got. I'm like, I love
Exactly. No
Mhm.
chance. I fucking love being got. Ah, you got me. Yeah. So good.
it. Like my favorite, one of my favorite movies was this one that my dad made me watch, like back in the day, and I was like, okay, and we watched it, and I still think about like, man, I wish I could watch that again for the first time. Like, it
Is
got
it
me
The
so
Sting?
good. Well, that is one of them, but it was
Okay.
actually Striking Distance, which
Oh,
it's with
okay.
Bruce Willis
All right.
and Sarah Jessica Parker. It's this like very random movie from the 80s, I guess, or 90s.
Well, don't tell us anything about it so that we can be
No, no.
surprised by it as
Yeah.
well.
So it was, but same thing. I was like, man, I wish I could rewatch that, you know? And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
obviously, yeah, definitely The Sting is like, oh God, that movie. Oh, that's, it doesn't meet your brief criteria, but it's so fucking good.
No, it definitely does not. Yeah. So with all of that said, then, do we want to sort of approach our Griblies and the
We will,
whiteboard
we will, we will.
Marco? Oh, you
Um,
still have something else.
Just
Should
super
we
briefly.
define
Do
Griblies
it.
before we start?
Marco,
Okay.
listen,
Just-
there's no just
Just
go, man.
allow me. This
Mhm.
is a better movie than Scream, right? It is a better film than Scream. It is a better movie than Scream.
Sure.
And I'll tell you for why. I'll tell you what pushes it.
Nobody
over.
asked you to compare it to Scream, Mark.
But the comparison is valid, right? It bears weight. It's a horror movie about horror movies,
Sure.
right?
Sure. Yeah.
But whereas I don't think Scream ever fully takes its head out of its ass, right? There's a point about 2/3 of the way through Cabin in the Woods where you can almost hear the movie saying to you, all right, enough talk, let's fucking go. And it goes up a gear and becomes an absolutely fucking wild horror movie when she hits the purge button and hell breaks loose in that fucking basement. It's like, all right, we've talked about it enough. Now let's do the thing now. And all hell breaks loose, and there's fucking gore everywhere, and there's like in an 8-foot set, an 8-foot by 8-foot fucking set, there's like 40 different fucking monsters, all creating absolute carnage for the last 20 minutes of the film. It's like, all right, just in case you were wondering if we're all talk and we're all fucking film school, all right, have this, you can't. Hits the button and just goes insane, which I don't think Scream ever does. It never finds that gear for me. It's more of a thesis than it is a horror movie.
Sure. Which you always talk about Scream like you don't like it when you actually love most
I
of
do.
it. But I see
Yes.
what you're saying, but I do think like it's that kind of one of the things about Cabin in the Woods is that obviously something like Scream and probably what's the other Wes Craven one that does this? The one
Nightmare.
New Nightmare. Like things like that are obviously in the like pot
Oh, for sure.
of
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
influences that make it so Cabin in the Woods can happen, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
the
completely,
reason
completely.
this-
And I
exists
just
is stuff like that.
to in case you weren't worried that I'm just being a Freddy fanboy as well, I would put New Nightmare in that bracket. I don't think New Nightmare ever takes the brakes off, and when it does, in fact, it goes to shit. The end of New Nightmare is fucking terrible when you've got Leather Jacket Freddy
Sure,
in
yeah.
some shit looking set with his little demon tongue. Awful.
Yeah.
But
I love
Cabin
New
in the Woods-
Nightmare, but I do get what you
Oh,
mean.
same. But that last third, is kind of wonky. You got Walton there.
Oh no, it was just my watch was buzzing in a weird way.
Yeah.
But it's fine. Go on.
No, I'm done. I'm done. I like
So
Cabin in the
then-
Woods a great deal.
Yeah, and I think that is like exactly those comparisons to, or what makes Cabin in the Woods so great is the fact that it takes the input of so many things and then
Yes.
comes up with something that is greater than its parts, right? Like
yes,
that.
Yes.
There's so many things that are an homage to something else, that try to pull different like bits of other things into them in one way or another, and maybe come out with something that's as good if they're lucky, but rarely do you get something that takes all of those influence and what it spits back out is something that is probably greater than
Yes.
95% of the things that went into it, if not 100.
But is also, like we said earlier on, is also great if you've just found this scrolling through Netflix and gone, oh, Cabin in the Woods, like look at this. It it rewards a kind of a knowledge and love of horror, but it doesn't demand one.
Yes, exactly. Completely.
Yeah.
Whiteboard, Marco? What do you
Whiteboard.
think?
All right. So for the uninitiated, right? The kind of the surface plot of Cabin in the Woods is there is a department. They might be the government, maybe they're not. We don't think they are, but there's a department with branches all over the world that is creating sacrifices, human sacrifices to old gods who used to rule this plane of existence. And if the sacrifices aren't done in just the right way and in just the right order before midnight on a specified day, then the old gods will break out of their prison at the Earth's core, possibly, and wipe out all of humanity, right? Now, what this clandestine, underground, bureaucratic, almost office, work-a-day, fucking day-to-day office department does is it seeds all of the demons and all of the ghosts and all of the baddies you've ever seen in every fucking horror film into these situations all across the world, and whichever ones our protagonists choose will be the ones that enact their death. Now, I know there's a word for this. It's when like an Aldi brand comes so close to duplicating the copyright and the logo of another brand, so you know what it is,
Right.
but they can't get sued,
Yes.
What's the word for that? I'm sure there's like
Is
a
there a
marketing
word for that?
it.
Well, I don't know. We
Oh,
call it
I'm
Kirkland
sure there
brand.
is.
I
Yeah,
mean,
we
we call
usually
it
say
Kirkland brand
Kirkland.
usually.
Yeah.
Kirkland.
That's like the Costco,
that's Costco brand of
The store.
of things.
We're saying the same thing. We just call it.
We're saying the same thing. Yeah,
Kirkland
exactly.
brand
But you're right.
so.
There probably is an actual term for that, like
I'm
in
sure
the
there is,
industry.
yeah.
I just don't
You
know
see
what
it in
is.
wrestling a lot. So wrestlers will have theme music, which is like a no
Yeah.
too different from
Right.
like a metal
Or
classic
like,
that everyone knows.
yeah, whenever they go on like Facebook in a TV show or
My
whatever, but
favorite.
it's
Yes.
My
called
favorite
like
British soap, EastEnders. Every now and again, a character will go on Friend Face.
yeah, exactly. Yes,
Oh, beautiful. Nice one, guys.
precisely.
But anyway, and all of these monsters that you've ever seen in every horror film are kept underground in a vault and let out when they're selected by the protagonist's topside and left to do their bidding. So what I thought might be fun is about halfway through the film, the office and all of the different departments like maintenance and biotech and chemistry, they all take bets on which monster this particular group of kids is going to resurrect this time. And they have like an office pool, and they all chuck in $5 into the bag, and okay, and they write them all up on like a board with odds and whatever. And I've got a screen grab of the board here, and I thought it might be fun to just take a little look at this board and see just what a broad kind of tapas of horror this
That's
movie draws
tapas,
from.
not
Oh, I know.
tap ass.
I got it.
Okay,
I got
just making sure.
I got that. I enjoyed the way you
Tapas.
pronounced it, but I was like, no.
I get what we're going for here. Yeah.
I'm just gonna send a request to share my screen like I'm in fucking
Ooh,
work.
excellent. Look at
Oh my God,
this.
this is like really cool.
screen?
It's going to be Kristen's Facebook page when he puts it up. Kristen on
Deep cut.
Joag the other day, he told us a horrifying story of Facebook stalking
Kristen.
someone during a meeting and then accidentally putting that screen up in front of them.
Kristen, it was the worst. I wanted to fucking end my life there on camera. It was terrible. There was a girl on this course I'm on, and I was like,
They were on the call.
They were on the call.
oh yeah, and then
God.
we went into a breakout room, and I was with
Mark,
this
I
girl,
need
and
you
I
to
shared
stop.
my screen.
I can't.
It was terrible,
I
and
need
they
to
all
lie
saw
down
it.
for like
They all saw
45
it.
minutes.
And it was up there for like 2 or 3 seconds before, and the only thing I could say was, "Okay, I'll just close that." Do. Oh, it was fucking horrible.
That's
Right.
one of the worst things I've ever heard.
This is what one of our listeners said of this moment, that this was the most horrifying 4 words that he'd heard on our horror
Yeah.
podcast was, well, I'll just close that.
Just close that.
Oh my god.
Anyway, here we have the whiteboard. All right, is that? Can we see my screen?
Yeah,
All right.
Yes,
perfectly.
here we go.
all right,
Oops,
all right,
except I
here we go.
somehow got rid of it. Oh, there it is. Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Let's do this.
So, werewolf speaks for itself.
Yes,
Yeah.
we know werewolf.
I know what a
Alien
werewolf
Beast,
is.
obviously.
I read a
Alien.
lot of werewolf romances, and that's not usually how werewolves react, sir, you guys. So,
Do
Oh,
you?
Mark, please. Obviously,
Obviously. What's there's a word for that.
Omegaverse.
Romantasy?
It's Omegaverse.
Okay, but like romantasy
no,
is like
that's not
the
quite romantasy.
thing, right? Oh,
Omegaverse
okay.
would be a werewolf.
Like
Okay.
erotic werewolf fiction.
Yeah,
Is that what we're fucking talking about here?
I'm just saying, it's not. It's there's a story. Anyway,
It's not just
There's a
werewolf
story.
that's
yeah,
erotica.
yeah.
Gosh, there's like
You know,
also
so a werewolf comes to fix the photocopier, and
Mark. How dare you belittle it?
Oh no.
listen, there's a future fan cave. I'll read a fucking werewolf smut pamphlet,
Yes.
and I'll come on
Yep.
and we can maybe
Yeah.
talk that
Yeah.
through.
Love it.
Anyway,
I feel good with that.
this is amazing. Anyway, mutants, Corey. And I did see the mutants. They're in the hospital gowns and they've got like lumpy mutant heads.
Oh,
You
okay.
can see
Yeah.
the mutants.
Because here's the thing, Kristen. All of these beasts are in that final 20 minutes. They're all there.
Are they
Oh.
all? I've never actually like
All of them.
I saw the
checked
tree.
between them. Oh, that's
yes.
amazing.
Okay. So zombies.
Ooh, the
yeah, that speaks for
tree.
itself. Reptilius. That was the giant snake, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes
Okay.
sense.
What's that?
Uh,
What's the difference between giant snake and reptilius?
Oh, does it say
Oh,
giant
is
snake
there- is
elsewhere?
giant
oh yeah,
snake on
giant
there?
snake.
Oh, there
Yeah,
is.
internal logistics also thought giant snake.
What could Reptilius
What
be
could
then?
Reptilius have been?
Alligator? Something like that? Is it? I'd have to watch it again. Is it like a man-shaped
Yeah,
reptile?
I feel like there must be something. I wish I'd like been sitting there with this as like a checklist because I didn't realize they're all.
Yeah. Oh, they're
in
all there.
that.
They're all there.
Oh,
yeah,
that's
yeah, yeah, yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
Obviously, we see the clown.
Obviously, yes. It, of course. Then you've got witches. Pick your movie. Sexy
doesn't
witches.
That's pretty great. Demons.
Okay.
generic.
Kevin, who do you
generic
think
kind of trope.
Kevin? Who's Kevin?
Now, I've been on the Cabin in the Woods Reddit quite a bit over the years, as you
good.
can imagine.
Okay.
Classic.
And
course.
all of these Gribblies, Kevin is the one that's most difficult to spot. A lot of people don't spot Kevin, and I've never seen Kevin, and nobody really knows where or who he is or what he's referring to. If anyone
really?
watching or listening to this knows what Kevin in Cabin in the Woods refers to, what movie they're drawing from there, I'd love to know.
So are
That's
Gribblies like? Is
fascinating.
that like a slang, like a horror slang for monsters?
Oh,
is that why we? keep
Sorry, I
saying that?
digress.
Sorry.
It's I've never.
It's a word you
it's
made
just
up.
a word it's a generic kind of term
Classic.
for monsters. Whether you're in a game, a video game, or a book, or a fucking TV show, the
Gotcha.
Gribbly is coming to get you. Hell Lord, so that's Hellraiser. That's the guy with
Yeah,
the
so
fucking
that's
blades
your
through his
Saw guy. That's
Yeah.
Oh, with
so
the
he's
box?
holding.
head.
Yeah, so
Exactly,
the
it's a riff on
box
Pinhead.
is- Right, and the box is the what's it called?
Pandora's box.
No. What's it called, Mark? In the
Well,
it's
in the movies, it's called the Lament configuration.
the lament configuration. Thank
Yes.
you.
And
No, yes, of
I think in
course.
the book it's Le Marchand's configuration.
Oh, fancy.
Indeed. You've got the angry molesting tree, which of course is a direct reference to Evil Dead. That's another thing you're going to get in Evil Dead. You're going to get.
That says
You're
molesting
going to get
tree.
it. Yeah. That's what the trees.
I thought it said a
do in
mollusk.
Evil Dead.
I was like, I don't know what that means. But...
Mollusk tree. Yeah, this is directly from Evil Dead, a
Oh,
scene
there's-
that largely I think we all agree shouldn't be there. But
History has
is,
moved
so-
on from that. Yeah,
History
and
has
I think,
moved on from the molesting
I think
tree.
the filmmakers have also said if we had our time again, we probably wouldn't have put the molesting tree in it.
Yes,
But it exists.
it exists. Giant snake, obviously.
Yep.
Deadites, which
Deadites,
brings us
another-
back to Evil Dead.
Another Evil Dead rip.
Yes.
Okay.
Kevin fuck knows,
Kevin?
which I love.
Kevin?
Yeah, I was just looking at the wiki for it, and I love that there's like theories about like he's probably just like a regular person, so he could just like fit in with everyone else.
He's in the background somewhere,
and,
isn't he?
Yeah, it could be a serial killer. Like we don't know. There's like theories
Yeah.
about like he just might be moving through there, and we don't know who he is.
Yes. Mummy speaks for itself. The Bride.
The
I'm
Bride.
certain we saw a kind of a veiled, like ghost type kind of character. Or is that a wraith?
Yeah, I took that as kind of a wraithy thing, but if there's no wraith on the list, then maybe that's the bride.
Yeah, there's a wraith fourth down.
Oh, yeah, no, then I think
Yeah.
that was a wraith.
So the Bride. I must watch it a ninth time and maybe a
Yeah,
10th.
you're just gonna have to with the
You're gonna have
list
to.
there.
Scarecrow folk. We saw them. The Baghead Scarecrow guys.
Yeah, classic.
They get blown up and straw goes everywhere. Fucking brilliant. I don't remember Snowman.
I don't remember the snowman either. Did you see a snowman, Kristen?
No,
I think
barely
the
saw
funny
half
thing
of
is-
these
Kristen,
things.
did you see a snowman in the movie Cabin in the Woods?
I think the thing is what also is kind of fun about these is that not everything like looks exactly like what you
Great
expect
point.
it to. Like when we finally
Yeah.
see a merman, that's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
really
yeah.
what you're expecting
You
a
guys,
merman.
because Corrigan, when the merman showed up, I thought it was the absorbing lady from Scary
Oh, from
Stories
Scary
to Tell in the
Stories.
Dark. And I was
Okay.
like, how did she get here?
What's
and
she
I was
doing
And that's-
here?
That's
not
such a
happy
lovely
about it.
little D plot about how
Like-
for some reason he'd love
just
to see
really
a
wants
merman,
to see a
and he's
merman.
quite embarrassed about it. Shut up.
Yeah. Oh, that was scary though. I didn't like when she showed up. And then it wasn't even a she, it was a he.
Yeah,
and
it's
I
a
was
he,
like,
and then
oh,
he
that was
blows
sad.
blood out of his little blowhole. It's a pretty
Horrible.
great. Yes.
Dragon Bat we saw featured.
Yeah, the
quite
Dragon Bat we
prominently.
get a lot
Dragon Bat
of,
is
yeah.
brilliant.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Vampires, yeah, speaks for himself. Dismemberment goblins.
Well, is that? Oh wait, no, I was thinking dismembered because he chops up all the things, and then all the pieces fall in. But I don't know which ones.
I'm
were
certain
the
they're in the mix. Sugar Plum Fairy, you definitely see on one of the security cameras. She's the little girl in the. Kind
She's
of
the girl
barrier
with the
outfit
little
tutu,
lamprey
with the
face.
leech face. Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
see, I thought she was a changeling because don't they like
Oh.
suck people? Anyway, that's what I thought she
Oh,
was.
That's solid too. Hey, I'll go with that.
What do I know?
Merman speaks for itself. The reanimated, I think we've definitely seen those in like hospital gowns.
Mhm.
Unicorn was
Yeah.
brilliant. Stabby
Yes.
unicorn.
I love the idea that like just imagine if that had been the thing that like they had picked. Like that was what I thought when you see the
Yeah,
unicorn. It's just like
yes,
they would have
yes.
all just been like
Oh.
skewered by a unicorn.
What was the Huron?
The Huron.
Like the bird?
Well, it's got a
Oh, is that-
U, like the lake. The Huron. All right, let's see what the Cabin in the Woods wiki has to say about
Yeah, do.
the Huron.
I don't recall seeing a Sasquatch / Wendigo / Yeti. Dolls are the human-looking people with the doll masks, kind of like the others.
Oh, see, I thought those were.
Remember
That's what I
those?
said.
Mm.
I thought those were the strangers.
He's sorry.
Please.
The Huron he resembles a stereotypical depiction of an early native man, and he can be seen in the cubes. There's like I'd try to show the picture, but with my blur, you probably can't.
No. Oh yeah, yeah.
There
Okay,
you go.
fine. Find me the
That's the guy.
Sasquatch if you'd be so kind.
Okay, let's see here. Let's see what we got.
Corey, can you pull up a Sasquatch for us?
If I had a nickel for every time. Sasquatch. Oh, he's straight up squatching it. He's exactly. I remember him now that
Oh, for sure. Yeah, yeah.
And I do the thing that like
Looks like I don't have my
influencers do.
contacts on.
Yeah. Like you know how influencers always
Yeah,
hold their hand
fully,
up and it
fully
causes
remember,
the
yes.
but yeah. He looks like, Harry and the Hendersons, regular old Squatch.
The doctors certainly remember them.
Mm-hmm.
Our zombie redneck torture family, of course.
That's
and I also love
obviously
Actually,
our family who they
Buckners.
pick. The
Texas
Buckners.
Chainsaw. Are they? They're the undead Texas family, aren't they?
That's
basically?
gotta be, yeah, the
Gotta be.
general idea.
I also love the little gag with Ronald the intern when okay, and maintenance, and then you got Ronald going yes.
Yes,
the back 'cause he gets to
I
share.
love It's what's his face, who is just delightful. Tom something. He's in a
Okay.
lot of the like Joss Whedon things and stuff like that. He does
Ah,
things
yeah.
on, including Much Ado About Nothing, which is one of the movies that I think Kristen and Brienne and I have watched many,
Many
many
times.
times.
That guess who's in it?
Which one? I mean,
Fran Kranz is in it.
Fran
Our
Kranz,
boy.
Amy Acker, the guy who plays Ronald the intern. Like, there's a lot of people in this who
Okay.
are in
Oh,
that
yeah.
movie.
Fran Kranz. It all
Never
comes
having
back.
seen Frank Kranz in anything other than this movie, he looks like one of those guys who you wouldn't know it, but is ripped as fuck.
He is. He's hugely ripped. Yeah. What is
We
there's
kind of tell.
another movie. Do you remember what it is, Kristen? There is some
No.
movie where he like takes off his shirt and it's like, the fuck is going on under there?
Yeah,
Like, what?
No, I don't remember. I probably should
man.
rewatch it though.
Have to, yeah. But you never watched Dollhouse, Mark.
Oh,
Don't
Dollhouse.
maybe.
What a
Oh, what, the
great
TV show?
Yeah, the TV
Yeah.
show.
No.
Oh man. Yeah, he's great on that. He's
Okay.
It's really good.
phenomenal. Jack
Jack O'Lantern, don't remember. Giant, don't remember. Twins, I certainly remember. We've got like
Yeah.
a couple of shining twins in there.
Exactly. I don't remember if you see them actually like attacking, but when they zoomed out, I immediately
Exactly.
my eyes went straight to the Shining Twins.
Yes.
In there.
And again,
So that's very
this exact image is like, thing number 468 that I love so much about the film, because it gives you, and they show this like 30 minutes in the film. You've
Right.
got this scene happens like
You got the
right
whole
in the middle of
list.
the movie.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
all there. The entire fucking movie is laid out on this whiteboard, which is just a throwaway gag. And it's so
Fantastic. I love it.
good. Mm.
Great times. So Kristen, I mean,
Yeah.
I think we know, but this gets a positive review from
Oh
you.
yes. Oh yeah. Thumbs up. I said, had a
Excellent.
great time. It was so fun. I laughed a lot in this one.
Right.
They, like literally everything Marty said. I was like, this guy is just such a hero.
Shall we
like-
go through your breakdown to
Oh, yes.
turn it up?
For
So
sure.
every month, Mark, we also have this little breakdown that we go through
Okay.
just to get like the final, understanding of how this went. So first of all, poster versus movie, which is scarier?
Yeah, I definitely think the poster had more scary vibes. Like when you
Yeah.
obviously I looked at the poster later, clearly not
Sure.
before. Classic. And so the poster was definitely scary because like when the film started, I was like, this seems like a workplace comedy maybe we're watching, right? It had like the vibes were very confusing. So didn't have a lot of scariness to me. So definitely the poster. I
Just
guess.
on that,
Retrospect.
number 646 of things that I adore about this film. Come with me on this. I know I've said this to you before, Corey, but you know how Ghostbusters is the perfect template of a film that is about people who try and use science or earthly ways to combat otherworldly things. I love that
Right.
fucking gimmick. And this is what if horror movies existed in like Office Space?
Yeah.
Beautiful. Such a cool little mesh of
Yes.
formats.
Absolutely. Biggest jump scare.
Yeah, this was embarrassing actually. My biggest jump scare is when Holden moved the picture and then you see Dana creepily like staring at that what you don't
Yeah,
realize
yeah,
is a
yeah,
mirror
yeah.
and I was like I literally like I screamed. And then it was
Yeah.
like what's happening? Like it was and then later when
So
all
good.
like these other monsters are killing, I was like this is embarrassing that the only time I
That
screamed
was
in this film was then.
Oh, amazing. I love that.
I wasn't
mean-
expecting her to stand there. I don't know.
That's
By
the
the time
perfect
everything started
thing-
hitting the fan, right? I was like,
Yeah.
okay, now
You're
things
ready
are
for
moving.
it,
I'm
yeah.
ready for all these things. But he's just like in this creepy cab. I don't know. It was really and the picture was scary,
It's perfect because when we talked, early on when we watched The Conjuring and we had that conversation about like the idea of earned and unearned jump scares, and you were like, all of them are earned to me. Like,
Yeah,
there's
they're all earned.
There's no difference. I jump either way. And this is like an example though of that idea of like subverting it, right? Like it wasn't actually a scary thing that happened, and that was what made you jump, and that's when you like really feel like, okay, well played.
Yeah, you got me. You got
You
me.
got
They
me.
always do. They always do.
Were there any moments when you had to close your eyes?
I mean, obviously there was a couple of times where I closed them in anticipation and then it
Right.
cut away, so you didn't see. Like we didn't really see. What was the friend's name? The blonde friend. Chloe.
No, not Chloe. I can't think of what it is at the moment either.
Jules.
Jules, yes, Jules. That's it.
When Jules gets like sodden, I was like, I don't want to watch that, but we didn't see it. But
Yeah,
I
you don't
did
really
not
see it.
like when Mike Truman, because I really felt like special kinship with him when he
Yeah.
got like torn apart. Because then they started showing his like, I was like,
yeah,
okay,
all the.
Yeah.
It's the
he's so
same
pretty.
thing that
he
like
was so beautiful. Like I felt
you
like
really
that was
don't think you think he's gonna make it. Like he's got Final Girl vibes
just-
to
oh, he
him.
was-
you
I
know,
thought like he was gonna kind of step up and like do something.
Yeah,
you know, because
right.
he definitely was like questioning, and then he never did, and then he died. I was like, oh, what a waste.
oh,
Aw,
That's
Truman.
also I have the same. It's a similar thing with him getting pulled apart to like the part I always close my eyes in Shaun of the Dead when the guy like the terrible guy gets pulled through the Winchester's window and they all
Oh.
start like
yeah, just ripping
eviscerating him,
apart.
and I'm like, "Ugh! Oh no,
Yeah.
no, thank you."
No thanks.
How about biggest surprise?
Yeah, like the whole fucking movie was the biggest surprise. Everything was a surprise.
All of it.
All of it. The opening was a surprise. The middle was a surprise. The ending was a surprise.
Love
Everything was
that.
a surprise.
Yeah, most surprising movie we've watched. I would
Yeah,
say.
definitely. Yeah. Because lots of times the surprise ends and then I'm like, okay, now I'm in it. But I was like, well, surprises just kept flying
Just
in my
keep on
face.
coming.
You know?
Yep.
Yeah.
Best side character.
Yeah. Obviously Mordecai. What a fucking weirdo. Loved him so much. I loved him so
Oh,
much. I loved the
Mordecai.
phone call when he was like, am I still on speakerphone? Rah! You know, and they're just like laughing at him. I was like, oh,
Sweet,
He's like-
sweet man. Just
idiot. I mean, he
Yeah.
wasn't. Like, he's such a trash person, but I was
Yeah.
like, I loved him so much. He was, and his name was
Yeah.
Mordecai. I'm
I
like,
will
"No,
agree. I will agree with
Right.
that.
there's never been a better cast and then named character. Like,
yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
perfect guy for that role. Perfect name. When his name was Mordecai, I was like, of course his name is Mordecai. Why wouldn't
He
it
is
be?
definitely
It's either gonna
Mordecai.
be Mordecai or Jeb Stewart, right? Those are like
Yes.
the two.
Definitely.
Uh,
And finally, best line.
yeah, best line was hard for me, right? Because Marty had just like bangers on bangers.
Yeah,
But-
I'm just gonna say my favorite comes from Marty, which
Yeah.
is he's got a husband bulge.
He's got a husband bulge, which is really great.
Husband's bulge.
And that was up
Every
there,
time
'cause
I watch
the
it.
way he just like in passing does that
Yeah.
one is like really great, right? Doesn't stop. It's just like a drive-by like insult essentially or like jab. Corey, I think you might be able to guess the one that I loved
Ooh.
the most if you
I don't
really thought
know.
about it, but
Maybe
maybe
but-
not. But the part where he's like they ask
Oh.
Mordecai like
I know.
Okay,
It's like
what,
as soon as you
what?
said it, it's the war one, isn't it? When he starts, he's like,
he goes,
"What war?" He
we're
starts
some in
going-
gray and some
some
in
in
blue,
blue,
brothers. But I was like, I screamed. I loved it so much. I wanted to die. It was just perfect. Oh, I loved it so much.
Yeah, that was.
It was really great. It was really great.
That's when I'm sure that's like a moment where you're like, "Yes, I'm in this movie."
Yeah, I was
Understands
like, wow,
me."
Yeah.
they really like made this for me. It feels like.
Yeah,
Which is a
there's been
reference to the
multiple-
American Civil War, Mark. Just
I
FYI.
did. I got that. Yes, I
Oh,
did get that.
Sorry, yeah. Which is
They
I don't know if
teach
you know
it
this
in
about
UK
me.
schools, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did know that.
You might not know this about me. I really
Kinda.
like it.
Kind of into the Civil War. It's kind of a
Like
thing.
half of my personality. It's deeply
Okay,
embarrassing.
I see. I see.
It's not. I love it so much.
Amazing.
Yeah, so that was probably my favorite Marty, but pretty much everything he said was like genius, obviously.
Absolutely love it. Well, do you want to know what you're watching next month?
Yes. And when I'm scared now, are we really getting it? Are they going to be worse now?
No, this is
Aw.
this is actually a reward, you know, because you
Cool.
graduated from trope school.
I graduated from trope school.
You graduated
Do
from
I
trope
get a
school.
certificate?
Yep, I think
can
Mark's
make my
gonna
own.
make you a certificate. A little,
Yep.
yeah.
Great.
We'll jump on Canva.
Yes, make you a certificate for trope school. This is a little reward for your hard work over this semester.
Oh, thanks,
Um,
Cheech.
So we're gonna do a sequel.
A
here.
sequel. Okay.
A sequel, yeah, to one we have already watched.
Sequel that I've already watched.
No,
If
no,
it's
no, you
fucking
haven't
it-
watched.
If it's oh,
No. Well, you've watched the first movie. You haven't watched the sequel.
Ooh.
It's
Corey,
not
I'm
it.
not
It's
watching-
not
oh.
it.
okay. All right. Well, I was just
You have
gonna
any
tell
other
you I wasn't gonna watch
guesses?
it. No, but I was just going to tell you that I wasn't going to watch it, and I'm not going to watch the second Strangers either. So I don't. If there's another one, I don't want to watch one of those either. Is it? Is it that it?
It's not Strangers. We're going
Oh.
to watch the Brandy and Jennifer Love Hewitt vehicle.
Oh my god! I know you did last summer too, or I
We'll
still know what you did
know
last summer.
Has to
what
be.
you did last summer. Yes.
Yeah, you'll have a good time. You'll have a good time, Kristen.
Yes. Featuring
Yes!
Jack Black, featuring Matthew Settle, aka
Is it Mekhi
Spears from
Phifer
Band
in
of
this
Brothers.
movie?
It's got Mekhi Phifer. It's so.
Is there a rapper
fun.
in there? It feels like there should be a rapper in there.
I don't think there's a rapper in this one. I
Okay.
think this one is
But
rapper free.
Mekhi Phifer was in the Brandy
He was
Monica
in-
video. The boy
He's
is
in The
He
Mine.
was
Boy Is
also
Mine,
in 8 Mile.
And he's in 8 Mile as
so
well.
He's also in
a
Honey.
rapper adjacent.
Yeah, he's rapper adjacent. We'll give him that.
Still
I
handsome.
Still Know is a fun, stupid time, and I think you deserve it.
Oh my
I agree.
gosh.
So-
I agree.
I only love it though. There
Congratulations.
better be a trunk full of crabs though. I know trunk full of crabs. That was my
There's
favorite part.
gotta
the
be a
first one.
trunk full of crabs.
It's not a
It's an
trunk full of
important
crabs. It would
element.
be sad.
I like
Oh.
the idea that is the trope that appears in every installment.
Honestly, and it's funny, right? Because I'm like probably the only one that enjoyed
Yeah,
it
nobody-
so much. No one cared but me.
Yes.
I loved it so much. I could not have loved it more if it didn't. Honestly, I don't think I would have liked that movie as much if it didn't have that.
If it didn't have the trunk full of
It's
crabs.
such a great thing. Like, why is this happening? Oh God,
How did nobody hear the trunk
What a
full of
moment.
crabs?
what a moment! Like, where did the
Uh.
crabs go? She went back so quickly. Like,
Did
wow.
you guys see there was a video going around, like one of those subway creatures type videos or whatever, but a woman who dropped the bag of crabs on the subway and everyone
No.
was like trying to help her clean up the crabs as they're
Oh,
like,
God.
ah, like pinching. Oh, it was beautiful. Glorious moment, New York style.
I would simply walk further down the train.
Yeah, no, I am not.
Classic, yeah.
Listen, I like to think of myself as a helpful person, someone
Same,
lending a hand
but-
to others, but I'm not touching a crab.
Your
I
crab's
draw
your
the line.
business.
Yeah.
Your crab's your
Yeah.
problem.
That is between you and your God. Like, I'm not here to get in the middle of that. You
Nope.
know?
Yeah. You've made your crab bed.
Yeah.
You must
can
crab
sleep
lie in it.
Yeah.
Yes. So friends, prepare for next month. We will be watching I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. If you've never seen it, get on that. If you have, rewatch it. Grand old time. Mark, thank you so much for coming
Yay!
along on this little voyage.
It was an absolute pleasure. See you in another decade.
Okay.
Here, because I didn't let him on the fan cave before, apparently.
Yeah, but now he's here. So once
Now
you're
he's
on the list, man, you can't
Yeah.
get away
Yes.
from us.
Beautiful.
Yeah, short
no,
list from this point forward.
what? I mean, the chance to talk about one of the best films ever with two of the best people ever. What a treat.
Oh my God. Wow.
Delightful.
Stop it. We can
Thanks,
go.
Marco.
I mean, you can go. It's fine.
And friends, thank you for doing the right thing. As always, we love you lots, and you should go ahead and stay spooky.
Or don't. It's up to you.